Announcing the arrival of the Honorable Minister.
Our distinguished visitors, led by the chairman of Johesu, Josiah Bebelemi. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I've been trying. Each time I give my tongue will have some wound trying to pronounce this your name. Cut it short for us now.
Joy. Just call him Joy.
Joe? Okay. Comrade Joe.
Comrade Joy.
Comrade Joe. Your Joy. Representative of the NSC president and other staff members who are here with us to this conciliation meeting, which is aimed at rubbing minds and meeting our colleagues on the workers' side and the government side, so that we can arrive at some form of agreements that will make for harmony and symphony in the industry, the health industry. COVID-19 has thrown the world into disarray, and the disarray is mostly noticed in the health sector, because the disaster we have now in the world is not that of earthquake, it's that of a viral disease that has defied even diagnosis, not to talk about cure. So the health workers all over the world have been on their feet. And for every nation, Nigeria not an exception, is a trying period. It's a trying time because the economies of the various countries have been distorted and seriously tampered with. So the whole world is in a state of emergency, medical emergency and economic emergency. Therefore, we value our health workers. In Nigeria in particular, our president has, in the last 6 months, in various broadcasts and speeches, hailed the gallantry of our health workers. This is not now a war we are fighting, not with bullets, but we are fighting it with brain and resources, economic resources, monetary resources. President inaugurated a presidential task force to be in the lead. Our Minister of State Health, the Permanent Secretary, and the main minister, they are all members of the PTF. We are supporters of the PTF. Some of us also are in the all-action committee to manage the economy and everything about it, COVID period and post-COVID. So you can see that the government is not joking about the health of our citizens. We are all witnesses that the government has expended a lot of money in terms of purchases, medical equipment, protective personal equipment, diagnostic equipment, diagnostic and laboratory equipment, and even medical infrastructure, putting up some isolation centers and COVID centers in many states and in the Federal Capital Territory. So when health workers in such an emergency situation issue ultimatum for strike, one begins to wonder. In fact, a section of the health workers, the resident doctors, went on strike. And we just conciliated the matter yesterday. So we ask you to have an open mind so that we can have a very fruitful discussion today. The threats to go on strike is not the answer. Going on strike is not also the answer. Because government has done much more than anybody can imagine. I didn't imagine our government can spend this kind of money, even with the lean resources available to government. It is in that sense that I brought you people here today with your direct employers, the Ministry of Health, and those who hold the cash of the nation, so that we have a full overview of what the situation is like. I'm a conciliator. Wherever government needs to do more, I'll tell them. Wherever they need to do more, I'll tell them. The Accountant General of the Federation yesterday said that he believed that I favor the unions more than I favor the government. That's a government side man talking. He's the one paying, so you don't blame him. I have the resident doctors also say I'm too hard on them, that I tell them that they've gone wrong and that they have disgraced the profession. Yes, I said so. It's a profession I took oath of, Hippocratic oath, to put the interests of the patient, the sick person, above all other personal interests that matters to me. And like I say, I beat my chest every day. I don't know about Sir Tomamura. I've never gone on strike since 1979. I don't know about you now. You know, Lagos area boys very much, and the few times we were in government, we don't know what you did.
I'm not the Muslim boy now.
Which one are you? Are you Ijeshatedo boy?
I know where I belong.
So, strike should not be it. And yesterday, I gave my junior colleagues the laws of the Federation and the ILO principles concerning the right to strike. I will give you the same today. Because we have rights. You have a right to strike. It's here. ILO, world over. And most of you are veterans in ILO. That's my happiness. But also, when you exercise those rights, other people's rights will also be protected. It's even in our laws. So for me, drums of war by health workers is not appropriate now, because most of our rights have been obviated by the situation the world has found herself, and that is we are in an emergency, national emergency. And it is in consonance with that when we are drawing our memorandum of understanding in April, we agreed, it's there in the MOU, that certain matters should be shelved until post-COVID. I have my own MOUs here. Because we realize that the pandemic has created an emergency for the entire world, Nigeria inclusive. So what we're going to discuss today will be in the spirit of give and take, brotherly discussion. Like I earlier on mentioned, the Accountant General of the Federation say I don't favor government. NAD say I don't favor them. Johesu said I'm already compromised. One of the three parties that I agitate for say that I'm not doing well with them. The logical conclusion is that I'm doing very well. I say it as it is. By my nature, that's what it is. And as Labour Minister, is the principle I want to adopt. I want stability in the industrial relations space. Not to talk about the health system, which has to do with matter of life and death. If anybody is allowed to die, that has happened in some places, we read where they put off the ventilator. I've asked for investigations there. I even wrote Ministry of Health on it, because we need to know that life cannot be put back. We can't get it back. If Food and Beverages Union go on strike, we have alternative to beverages. We can be drinking our locally made pap, akamu, and the rest of them all. Aha. But once somebody dies, because the doctor, the nurse, the laboratory man, laboratory technologist, the anesthetist have refused to do what they're supposed to do in consonance with their oath of office, it's not acceptable. It's not even one of the things we can leave for God only to judge. The judgment will be here. I believe so. So please, we've talked a lot yesterday to the medical doctors, and we are expecting them to react favorably by this afternoon. We have also, as part of government, we have our own powers to sanction unions that are off the line. We told them yesterday, and I'm also repeating it. We have our powers, it's here. The powers of the president and the Minister of Labor to sanction unions when their existence is no longer beneficial on the interest of the nation, or they are sabotaging efforts, especially those in essential services. Is there. We don't need to all flex our muscles and say this is our power, or we want to use it, or we don't want to use it. We don't need to use it. We don't want to come close to even using it. But the way government has been made a punching bag, everybody punches and says this government is deceitful. This government have not done this. Even when we have done them. Even when government have stretched itself with lean resources to do them. We don't think we can allow people to continue that way anymore. It's one of the mandates the president gave us in the retreat. And we will not. I, in particular, will not. I will not. Especially when government is being blackmailed. Or things that are straightforward, white, and people paint it black and dish to the public. We will not allow it anymore. Because if we tell Nigerian persons that for health staff, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, physiotherapists, that this government is going to, or is already expending 28.5 billion on your allowances, it will be terrible. We budgeted 20 billion in the COVID budget, which I have. If I show it to you, you will understand. It's 20 billion. That's what is there. But we have expended about 19, or close to 19. This is what we have in the COVID. If you look in this document, it's 20 billion. But Mr. President has bent over backwards and gotten money from other emergency monies or funds and approved another 9 billion so that we can pay up everybody, especially for the month of June, and take care of those that have been inadvertently skipped. And we are still reading that this government is not doing enough. They have not paid attention to infrastructure, medical infrastructure, PPE, this, that. It's not good. It's not good. It's uncharitable. We need to give honor to whom honor is due. This government has done more than enough for health industry and health professionals. And I want you to reciprocate. Things we can do now, we do it now. Things that we can take on later, post-COVID, like we did in our agreement or MOU, we'll do them. There are so many of them that come to mind. Those of authority resolution dispute resolution, ADR, which went to NSIN, because I've read your letters from the NLC and from Johesu. We will categorize them, know the ones that are doable now, the ones we can do now, and those we can go into post-COVID. Yesterday, I assured the doctors, and I also want to reassure you too, that all medical persons, all health professionals, NMA, NAD, Johesu, and even those who are not represented by unions. In fact, new unions or associations are coming up. We are going to meet again, just like we did in April, to fashion out the MOU. We are going to meet again to look at the issue of hazard allowance and take a definite decision on them after we have paid everybody that needs to be paid for the 3 months of April, May, and June. We will do so. So part of my consultation with you today will be for us to fix a date or look at a time frame under which we hold our discussion. Our discussions today will be free and fair, unfettered, and I need to then welcome you. And again, before I forget it, apologize that we are starting late. There is no point starting the meeting when the principal actors are not there. We need to have some information. We waited for some people. Some people who attended the meeting yesterday, they've fallen sick this morning. The Accountant General office, they're all ill now. So if you assist us today, we want to do it as fast as we can so that he or me or he doesn't fall ill. He will not. He doesn't want to be a patient, especially in this era of threats of strike. Me, I don't get ill. I'm never sick. It's yes. I don't get ill. He just recovered, so he won't be ill again. You know. So with these words, I think we can hear from the leaders of the team.
The issue is the issue of Johesu. The NSC is here to give solidarity and to give support. And I give to you, the Honorable Minister in particular, the fraternal greetings of the President of the NSC. He had struggled to be personally present here today. But when it was apparent to him that he couldn't make it, he had asked me to represent him. So he sent his apologies. But having said that, sir, he also put forward certain prayers. The demands are already clearly laid out by Johesu, and I'm sure they will articulate them. The prayers of the Congress President are as follows. One, that the federal government should speedily address the foregoing demands. The 5 of them are already listed in the program, which he has also put forward to you in his letter. He had also asked that the government should implement without any further delay the arrears for the upward review of COES, the salary structure for public health workers. And finally, that the federal government should pay public health workers the agreed COVID-19 special inducement and hazard allowance, which is a sum of 50% of basic consolidated salary. And that the government should also try as much as possible to settle the accrued arrears as a result of the shortfall in the amount so far paid in the hazard allowance. He reiterated that the Nigerian Labour Congress and indeed the entire workers of Nigeria are behind the effort and the action of JOSO to ensure that these issues are resolved. And that's why we are also here to give solidarity and to give support. Come, President.
Thank you.
I greet you in a very friendly manner from JOSO and hope that the friendly manner will remain to the end. I say this because while we go into details, because from the order of events or activities, I've seen at number 4, there is update on key issues for deliberation. So I'm expecting that the government, because these are no new issues, we have entered agreement on some of them, or if not all of them. And we are only here expecting what government will tell us they have done that is good enough to convince us and our members, our masters, who are waiting to hear from us. However, before going into that, I want to take very special notes of some of the opening statements where threats has become the leading key words. Well, in as much as we are here to speak and discuss as peaceful people, we are also, at this point in time, JOSO wants to make it very clear, that because we are not the only group in the health system and in Nigeria, and because every time it comes to JOSO matter, threats are always associated with the discussions. And because even the so much bandied laws of the ILO and everything, no work, no pay and all that, has been selectively used on us, I want to state it clear that the JOSO leadership here, we are ready to even pay the sacrifice of going to prison, because that is the last of the threats. It was said before, and today it is being also counted.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you are misquoting me. I don't want to interrupt you, but you are misquoting me, so that people don't go away with, I told you we have rights. And they are here. They are laws. I didn't make those laws. There are laws for sanctions. And I told NARD, President Doctors yesterday, if by today they don't call off their strike, I'll apply these sanctions here. So I'm just telling you what happened with them. So if you like to say it's selective, it's not selective. I will give you copies. You can take. Read them. Go and read them. Our rights are there as government and as those protecting the people of Nigeria, patients in hospitals. Patients will go to hospitals. Doctors cannot wake up and just walk out on patients. Not possible. In a pandemic, in an emergency, it's not possible. The laws are there. So government has the right to exercise those rights. That's what I'm saying. It's no threat. I'm just showing you the laws so that you know them. And know that also these patients that are being threatened with abandonment, they also have their rights that are protected by laws of the Federation of Nigeria and by international laws of the Labour Organization. So I didn't want to stop you, but you are now sectorizing it that is only for you. No. Any health worker. If you like, be a professor of medicine. I will apply it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. While still standing on my position, I want to proceed further, sir. That I mean my words. It is only GSU members that even when government invited us to fight corruption, we blew genuine whistles. Many months, my people have been kept without salaries. That's why we have unpaid and standing salaries there. It is only GSU, in spite of the fact that so many the groups have gone on strike several times in the Ministry of Health, it is only GSU that has been arraigned for contempt of court. It was threatened before, and it was practicalized. We went to court, we faced the contempt charges, but God on our side, as a people who were standing on the path of truth, God never sent us to prison, even though that was a wish. And we are still saying today that if, rather than meeting our genuine demands, if government can meet 6 of 8 demands of others and will not meet any of ours, any major demand of ours, and then that the result is that these laws that were not made today, will become laws of today, and that it will be used against us, as GSU, we are ready to go, whatever price, whatever punishment these laws will provide, we are ready for them.
Thank you.
Even if it means going to prison.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So,
Minister of State Health, please say something. So he's going for a meeting. He's going for PTF meeting. The documents. That's why
we will know who actually that money was spent on. But I do know that money
Ministry
was not
of
spent
Health
on.
here.
That money was not spent on our members, who are the
you.
bulk of the workforce in that place.
Ministry of Health, I hope you have your documents.
Thank you.
All right. Go on.
That this is about dialogue and the subtle use of threat and all of that.
There is no subtle use of threat. Please.
Honorable Mr. Sir.
No, please.
With all due respect.
No,
with all due respect, sir.
No, if you want
sir.
to derail the meeting, I'll stop you.
I'm
There
not
is no
derailing.
subtle threat. The same thing I told NAD, I'm telling them. They are all health ransom anymore.
But there are issues on the table for discussion.
Yes,
And we need
so
to be
let when
open.
we get to the issues,
We need to be open, sir. We need to be open
No,
with these
we
issues.
have not come for the issue for discussion. Please let the minister speak.
And my first plea to all health workers is that this is not the time to go for any strike. So I'm pleading that if there is a move to that effect, please let it be shelved. Please let it be shelved. We spoke with our colleagues, doctors, yesterday in a rather different way, because there is a bond. As doctors ourselves, we felt we needed to speak differently in terms of reminding them as doctors the first oath taken following graduation. We will not apply that same approach in this, lest we are misconstrued. But I am one who will always say that patient care or health care is a team effort. And in a team event, every member of that team is important. And that's why I'm making this plea. Please, if there is any thought of going on strike, let it be short. Even the Bible recognizes that there is a time for everything. So I'm pleading. He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Now, I know there are issues. There are issues. Some of them very genuine, some of them not very genuine. But there are issues. And in an atmosphere of cordiality, mutual cordiality, we can achieve so much. We can have open and frank discussion. And if there is cordiality, there will not be issue of suspicion in terms of preferential treatment. There is no preferential treatment here. But the point being made, which must be made very clearly, is that health sector workers, they are special breed. Special breed because we are talking about the lives of people. And that point was made yesterday. If a group of health workers, be they doctors, be they pharmacists, say they are fighting government, who suffers? The question is, who suffers at the end of the day? Thank God, all of us here were not patients. But anybody could be a patient at any point in time, because you don't know what happens in the next moment. And that's why we need to be very careful. And we are saying that because life is involved, and once that life is aborted, it cannot be brought back. That is why we need to have a rethink in our approach. That is just what we are saying. And you never know. You never know. It's like a war situation. When people beat the drums of war, in a war situation, you don't know who goes down first. And that is why I am pleading that let us shelve any strike situation. If there's any thought about that, let us shelve it. And let us dialogue with sincerity of purpose so that we can move forward. We're not fighting for ourselves. When we say government does not exist in abstract. It's people that make up government.
They're part of government.
And we are all part of government. That is the truth. We are all part of government.
And as public servants, they're part of government.
So, please, I don't want us to start feeling that, insincerity or there is a friendship. No. Please, let us be open, let us be frank, but let us have that approach that is conciliatory in the best interest of our people. Because like the Honorable Minister said, patients, they have rights. Health workers also have rights. Everyone, we talk of Bill of Rights of patients, Bill of Rights of caregivers. These rights are there. But if we have an approach of we are fighting government, then we are all involved. We are all involved. And no right is absolute. Every right is qualified. And every right has a responsibility attached to it. That's the point we are making. So, I am pleading. Because even the laws of the land we're talking about, Section 45 of the Constitution is clear. Where the rights can become abridged. Public morality, public good, defense of the rights of other people. And the protection of the rights of others. All these things are there, but we just in reminding ourselves, it's not because we are pushing a particular position, just to let us know that we are all in this together. That's just the point. We're all in it together. And with no one, we should not see ourselves as we against them. Please. That's just my plea, and that's all I want to say for now. And I'm sorry, I will have to give the Permanent Secretary, he said, Director of Hospital Services and other members from the Ministry of Health, they're here.
I hope they will be able to answer certain questions. You better do.
Be at that place and there. I've been asked.
No, if your minister is there, if you get there.
No, if he's there, definitely I will come back.
Yes, please.
But he has told me that
This is a very important meeting.
So please, I want to.
Because these people are all your workers. They are not mine. I'm just an conciliator.
They are workers of the federal government.
Yes, with primary responsibility to Federal Minister of Health.